So something a bit different on the channel today. We all know that AliExpress is the place to go for bargain watches, and I've reviewed some fantastically good value for money watches on the channel, like the Sander Cartier Tank Homage, the Addies Dive Quartz Submariner. Really great watches for very little money indeed. What I thought I would do today is show you 3 of the cheapest watches I could find on AliExpress to see what they are like. And the answer is, they're kind of fine. I mean, they're awful, but they're kind of fine. They work as watches. They tell the time. They function as you would expect them to, pretty much. So these 3 watches that you can see here, I paid £5 for. And by that, I mean I paid £5 for all 3 watches, including shipping from China. Not £5 each, £5 for all 3. The cheapest of these watches I paid £1.16 for. So that's what, about $1.50, something like that. The most expensive I paid £1.91, which I guess is about $2.50. So I'm going to go through them with you from the most expensive to the cheapest, and show you what they're like. So the most expensive one was this one. So I should say as well, all of these watches are the kind of watches on AliExpress that don't actually have names. So this one is sold, or the listing I bought it from anyway, was the 2022 new arrival Fashion Quartz Watches Men Luxury Watch brand. Stainless steel. It's not stainless steel. So the back may be stainless steel. The case is definitely not stainless steel. This is definitely a plastic case with some sort of alloy over the top. It's very, very light. The heaviest thing about this watch is the strap, and actually the strap isn't bad. So let me show you in a way. It's kind of a homage to, I guess, the Rolex GMT Batman. It's got that, you know, that black and blue bezel. It's got a date magnifier. The date magnifier kind of works. It does make the date a bit bigger. The bezel does not rotate. It doesn't do anything at all. It's just there for show. But the watch is, you know, reasonably slim, kind of a you know, slightly oyster style case, I guess, or at least a Rolex style case. Let's chuck it on the scales. And you know, the one thing all 3 of these watches have got in common is they are very, very light. So 48.5 grams. Diameter wise, it is kind of between 40 and 41. So yeah, just over 40 mil in diameter. So yeah, a quartz movement inside. All 3 of these watches are very, very noisy quartz movements. I'm going to hold this up to the microphone for a second so you can hear it. Hopefully you can hear that. So yeah, really annoyingly noisy quartz movements. They remind me of the ones that Timex used to use in their quartz watches. So yeah, super light, super cheap feeling, but kind of okay. So the strap is reasonable. So a rubber strap, it's that kind of slightly stretchy rubber. As you can see, they haven't actually bothered to punch the holes all the way through the strap for some reason, so you have to do that yourself. The other thing that's awful about this watch, and this is common for all 3 of the watches, is the crown. So the crown feels really, really flimsy. If I pull that out, you can set the time okay, and the movement doesn't have like huge amounts of slop or anything like that, like you sometimes get with these really cheap quartz movements. But the crown itself feels like crap. And the crown guards are much too big, and as you can see, the crown is kind of slightly, it's not evenly placed between the crown guards. So some very strange design choices there. But the crown guards, which are essentially pointless, make the crown actually quite difficult to manipulate as well. Anyway, let me put it on wrist and show you what it looks like. So I have a 6¼ inch wrist, and actually, you know, on wrist this doesn't look too bad. The rubber on this is slightly sticky, so it's a pain to put on. But once it's on, kind of looks okay from a distance. I think that would look all right. And as I say, it works. It tells the time, and it was less than £2. Right, let's get on to the next one then. Let's see if I can get this one off. So this is another kind of divey style watch. This one, I think, even lighter than the first one. So 34.5 grams or thereabouts. Again, it's about a 40 mil case, 40.4, quite long lugs on this one. Design wise, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be paying homage to something else and is just doing it badly, but a dive style watch with a big open date window at the bottom there, which I'm not a big fan of, I have to say. Another noisy quartz movement inside, kind of Mercedes style hands, but they haven't actually bothered to put the the Mercedes lines inside the circle on the hour hand. This one is from SZ Time. This one, I forgot to tell you, the brand is Modaya, I think. And at the bottom here, weirdly, it says quartz, and then I think 6995 GA. I don't know. I don't know what that means. This one just says, oh, this has got weird numbers at the bottom as well. So this says 663. You can tell my eyes are bad, can't you? 6630 G/quartz. So maybe that's the number of the quartz movement. So yeah, they've gone with this strange black, green and red colour scheme on this one, which they've carried through to the NATO strap. And like the strap on the other watch, the NATO strap actually isn't bad. I wouldn't have been unhappy if I paid £2 just for this NATO strap, if it was in different colours. I'm not sure these are colours I would actually wear. But yeah, again, the crown, tiny, difficult to manipulate, and made completely inaccessible by huge crown guards that really dig into your fingers when you try and use it. So that is definitely not ideal. So let's put this one on wrist. Again, on wrist doesn't look too bad. Am I ever actually going to wear any of these out of the house? Probably not, but it looks reasonable, I think. It looks okay, doesn't it? It's not too bad. Okay, let's move on to the last one then. So this one is, I think, a homage to the Loris Lumibrite field watch. So a field watch with a full loom dial. This one is called the Fashion Men's Watches Luminous Hand Clock Luxury Military Sports Calendar. So it does have a date window. Personally, I think it would look better without the date window. I also think it's too big. So this, again, is about 40 mil. So, about 41, this one actually. It's all dial, so it looks, it looks a lot bigger than the other watches. It's also even lighter, so 30.5 grams. So yeah, I think this style of watch would be better with a smaller dial, so kind of 36 mil, no date, and keep the hands the same size. So make the dial smaller, but keep the hands the same size, because these hands are much too small. The dial is nice and legible, but the hands just disappear into it because they're tiny. They're ridiculous. The second hand isn't too bad because at least it's red, but the hour and minute hand really do kind of fade into the dial. And given that this is supposed to be a military watch, it's supposed to be like a tool watch, the fact that you can barely tell the time on it is definitely a bit of a flaw. Again, a ridiculously small crown, so even smaller and more rubbish than the crowns on the other watches. No crown guards, fortunately, to get in the way this time, but yeah, just a ludicrously small crown. The strap is okay. It kind of reminds me of the canvas straps you used to get on the Seiko SNK mini Fliegers. So that style of strap, unfortunately for me, with my skinny wrist, I could do with another hole about here. So let me put it on and show you. It ends up being a little bit loose on me, which is a shame. Not that I suspect I will be wearing it. So there it is on wrist. It looks pretty huge on me. I think the lug to lug is just over 50, which is kind of too big for me. So yeah, if this was smaller, I think it would be, I could kind of imagine using it as a beater, but as it is, it's just a bit too large. However, it does have one trick up its sleeve. So let me turn the lights off and show you that. So as I said, this is a homage to a Loris that has a loom dial, and this one also has a full loom dial, which, given that this one, I didn't tell you the price of this one, did I? This one cost me £1.16. Like, the list price on AliExpress is £1.40, and for that you get a full loom dial, which is pretty impressive. Let me just show you. I'm going to give a blast of UV to all three of these so you can see how the loom compares. So the loom on these two, there's a bit of loom on the hands, but aside from that, nothing at all. And I suspect that loom on the hands will fade very quickly. This one, I think there's a bit of loom on the hands, but it's really the dial that glows. Look at that. It's really pretty impressive. So for that alone, I think this watch was probably worth the £1.16, just as a bit of a novelty. I haven't got any full loom dial watches in my collection at the moment, aside from this one. I have owned the Loris in the past and did enjoy it. Maybe I should pick up another one of those. But yeah, £1.16 for a reasonably wearable watch that works and has a full loom dial, I think isn't bad value at all. So let me know what you think of this motley crew in the comments. Let me know which one you would pick if you had to have one of them. Please give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and also consider subscribing for more simple watch reviews.